Hello, ladies. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back for another exclusive interview for the Eight Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium. I am here with the ultimate changers in business, a woman who is truly trailblazing. Okay. Now, if you don't have a pen and a pad, go ahead and grab it because I'm sure you are going to want to take some notes and jot a few things down. So let me just go ahead and introduce myself, and then Dr. Renee is going to get started. So I'm your host, Jacqueline Kaba-Harrison, and again, you have joined us for Eight Queens Roundtable Leadership Symposium, which is the #1 platform designated specifically for personal, professional, and leadership development for African American women entrepreneurs, specifically to help us scale our businesses, right? To help us create the ultimate lifestyle and business of our dreams. This is actually, or shall I say, this one is titled Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. And this is in conjunction with my upcoming book anthology, Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. That's going to be coming out next month. I am super excited. So, of course, all things leadership during this particular symposium, and all of the powerhouses that I'm interviewing are sharing with us their leadership journey. So that's what we're going to be getting into in just a second. I also want to make the announcement I am the executive producer for the Eight Queens Roundtable channel on the Women Win Network, which is strictly dedicated to women winning, as well as the producer of the Eight Queens Roundtable show and podcast. So if you are looking for opportunities to explode your visibility, to maximize your visibility, to expand your brand, let's have a conversation, okay? And my website is listed there, which is realizingyourpotentials, the123.com. All right, Dr. Renee, thank you so much for being here on this show and taking a seat at the table. So we are ready to take it all in. So go ahead, start by introducing yourself and just letting us know who you serve, how you serve them, and just a little bit about yourself and your why behind your business.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you. This is a beautiful platform. The Queens of Roundtable is just powerful. So I am a Dr. Renee Huffman. I am the publisher of Women of Dignity magazine, as well as my ministry is Dressed in Dignity, where we help women that are currently unemployed back into the work field. We provide them brand new clothes, shoes, and accessories. And then we have them a luncheon where we bring apostles, prophets in to help them with the deliverance. Because I always tell people, you can change, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. So you have to be transformed from the inside out. I'm originally from San Diego, California, born to Betty and Carl Bradford. I'm just, a girl that, that was called at the age of 7 to be a leader, because I come from a hard background. I always tell people I had one fist of challenges when I was born and one fist of struggles when I was born. And so my mother had mental illness, and my father on paper was told in elementary that he was mentally retarded. So coming into that type of world is challenging. It's hard, but something on the inside of me has always wanted to fight, to go all the way, determined to win, and to never give up. I always tell people, no excuses. You can't have any excuses in this hour. And I just believe that my brand I've been built, since an early age to be the woman that I am today in leadership, to help other women. My brand is to push other women into their destiny, for them to rise up, even though they may have had hard backgrounds. I feel that you still can go forward. You still can go all the way. It doesn't matter what your background looks like. It's just you have to make that decision. I want to go forward. I want to be great. I always tell people you are called, chosen, and commissioned to do a powerful and mighty work for the kingdom of God.
Wow, that's a mouthful. I don't even know where to start. Dr. Huffman. I don't even know where to start. Okay. Whew. So you said it's 7 years old.
Mhm.
So tell us a little bit more about that, because part of this is understanding that leadership journey, because everyone's journey is different. And I know some of the women out there are going to be able to relate to your story.
Well, I accepted Christ Jesus at 5 years old. I remember being in church. I was actually taking a nap on my grandma's lap. And I remember the pastor, which was my cousin, saying, come, the inner, come, what I'm saying, it's time for you to come. And I just got up, I leaped up, and I just went forward. And accepted Christ Jesus as my personal savior at 7 years old. And so, because my mother struggled with mental illness, I was right. If anybody tell you, I'm like very protective of my mother. Always, wanted to protect her. Even though she went in and out of the hospital, I was always right there. Now, at that age, I really didn't understand what the problem was or what the situation was, but I've always had my mother's back. In 2009, I was rushed to go home, and we began to pray and we began to intercede that my mom will receive her mind back. And I just remember being so young and saying, okay, it's not over for her, and just stepping in. And that's what I do in leadership. That's what I do for women. Like, tell them you don't have no excuses. Like, the background that I come from, if I'm pushing my mother at an early age, you don't have no choice but to get up, pick up your mat and walk. Go. There's no excuses. You must go all the way. So that's my background of just being a leader, at an early age. At recess, they would call me the preacher lady. Here come pastor, always preaching and telling somebody you need to come in, at an early age. But that was the leadership inside of me, always helping, pushing, encouraging, motivating to go to that next level.
So, it's interesting, or this helps me to transition into the next question. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these questions I know overlap. But one of the things I want to emphasize is some different characteristics of a good leader. And a few things you've already mentioned. You've mentioned the ability to be able to encourage others, to support others, to be able to, well, I'm thinking of this right now, but communication, also being able to follow, as well as lead, and to have faith. So go ahead and add to that or elaborate.
Yes, I mean, when you are called to be a leader, like I said, I was called at a very young age, but then you transition, you become a teenager, you just, you transition. So you go through things. But I've always been the person to tell people when I see them, not going forward because of maybe, they have a disability or something is wrong, it's okay. So being a leader, learning how to be gentle with people, be kind. Leaders are always looked at to be strong and powerful, overbearing sometimes. But behind the scenes, you have to be gentle, loving, caring. I don't hear a lot of that in leadership. I just hear a lot of dictation, or a lot of, well, you're going to do this. You need to do it this way. Well, what about stopping and encouraging that person? People call my phone and they say, I just need prayer today, Renee. I don't need leadership right now. I need, and which is still leadership, but I need you to pray for me. I need you to see me. As a leader, I am to see you, to see your foundation, to see your heart, and to see where you can go. But I have to take that time out and be a mentor to you, love on you, care on you, and love on you, to care about you, I should say, and just encourage you right where you're at. Even though I see that the person is powerful, can I love on them right where they're at right now?
And I hear that support and that encouragement. And what that makes me think of is, I think it's so crucial how you say you see them, because I think also a part of leadership, and just like when we raise our children, I think I used this analogy on an interview earlier, but like when we raise our children, we know that there are certain things, or every child is different, just like every employee, or, that everyone in our business is different, and they're motivated by different things. And I think that's also part of a good leader, is like you said, to listen, and to encourage and to support. Like this person may need encouragement or support around, I don't know, certain things, whereas this individual over here may need encouragement and support as well, but maybe with something different.
Yes.
So I think it's really important to be able to look at those things. And I use the analogy because I think a lot of us, as mothers, know exactly what I'm talking about. Some children need a little more encouragement than others, although, but you have to be in tune. You have
Yes.
to be in tune, and you have to want to
Yes.
see the person, and, to be able to feed into them, because you want them to feed into the organization, but you have to feed into them as well.
Yes.
So it sounds like you do that. And then
Yes. I would think, I also would just say, because they call me the female Moses, literally taking people from their wilderness into their milk and honey. And I think about the relationship of Moses and Joshua, that leadership, transferring of power. How can you be, this person is going to be the next, and you have to make sure God gave, and I just want to back up, God gave instructions to Moses, even about Joshua, he gave him instructions. So being able to be a leader, and even though this person is going to be greater than you, how you have a responsibility to take care of them and do exactly what God told, whatever God told you to do. It's important to help that person, minister to that person, train them up so that they can be greater.
Right, exactly, so that they can be greater. And that also comes up a lot too in this discussion, is some leaders, or maybe call themselves leaders, they don't want, or they begin to get threatened if they see some greatness, or see that their mentee, that's a word, right? Mentee?
Ooh, yes, it is.
Look, I had to check. Sometimes I'll make up a word in a minute. That their mentee is starting, they somehow feel that they may be better than them, or going to surpass them, sort of thing. But the idea is that if you're a true leader, you want to see that person grow.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You want to see them be the best version of themselves. And you understand that that doesn't take away from you, because everybody brings something to the table. Like you and I, Dr. Huffman, we could do the same exact thing, but you're going to bring your sauce and I'm going to bring my sauce.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if you are a true mentor, then you want to see that person rise and elevate.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if people that are around you at your table are coming to you and actually can say, and I can't remember the young lady's name, but I know she had made a comment,
yes,
in reference to you, and really feeling supported.
yes.
And I just think that, for me, I know when I hear people say that about me, it means the world to me.
Yes.
And when I come across another mentor that I really feel like got my back and really wants to see the best for me, I think it's just, words can't describe that feeling. But I think that's an important part of leadership.
Yes, it is. No competition, no jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people, when you find out who you are, then you're able to assist others.
Okay. I was gonna take a little swig of my water.
Okay.
Ever since I had COVID, my mouth I get that, what do you call that? That cotton mouth? My mouth is so dry. So just forgive me, ladies. I have to take me a couple sips every now and again. So back in reference to, so we touched base on the different types of characteristics that make a good leader. We talked a little bit about your leadership journey. Now, if you could tell me, as you were coming up, I know you shared about your mom and her ongoing mental health concerns. Were there any other women in your life at that time, like maybe an aunt or a grandmother, that you considered a mentor, or did you? So two questions, I guess. So did you have a mentor at that time? And as you began to go on your journey in becoming an entrepreneur, did you hire a mentor, or who did you kind of consider to be one of your mentors, I guess, as far as business?
And so it seemed like I've always had mentors in my life.
Okay.
My grandmother was number one. She instilled in me so much with the word of God. She was powerful, a powerful psalmist, but a powerful teacher. How to, what I'm saying, read the word, get in the word when everything around is crazy in your life, go to the word of God, and that will make you, it taught me how to be centered, learning how, and I always tell people, learn how to be still. Even in the midst of your storm, you have to learn how to be still. So that's what she taught me by giving me the word of God. And then there was mentors, even as early as third grade, Miss Thompson. I will never forget her because she taught me my multiplications, and she was a strong Black woman. She encouraged us. She was another person, no excuses. You couldn't have any excuses with her. And she, not only that you couldn't have any excuses, she taught me, but she also loved on me. She cared for me, took me home for the weekend, to show me something different. And so even my mentor as a teenager, Gayla Condon, I will never forget what she showed me her household, showed me what marriage was. She showed me how to be a leader, how to be a businesswoman. She wore so many different hats, and that instilled in me to, regardless of what, you have so many different roles, you can do it. So I've had so many different mentors on the way, on this way, because I'm still on, on this journey. And I would even shout out to Dr. Curran, Miss Curran. She's a mentor. She's taught us so much in the social media, world. So I have had just like a long range of mentors that have instilled those qualities of leadership inside of me, to keep no excuses, never give up. You can do it, regardless if you have your wife, a mother, if you're a businesswoman, you can do it, so all these women in my life, I can see every stage. Miss Getter, oh my God, 12th grade, she said, I used to drive by your house and I would pray for you every morning. Come on now. I mean, every stage of my life, I've had a leader to tell me, no, you can't stop. Yes, it's hard, but you got to continue. And so all those things, it's like a gumbo. It has, I'm saying, all those things are inside of me to pour out to other leaders, to pour out to other women, to let them know, rise up, come forth, because this is your moment. This is your time. There's no time to cry. It's time to, and we have our moments, but come on, you can do it. So that's what I would say about all the mentors in my life.
Okay. Wow, you've had quite a few. It seems like at every step of the way.
Yes,
every step of the way. Because I know, and everyone, we're going to go to a quick commercial break in just a second. I know that some of the women talk about being in, corporate America, and sitting at these tables and looking across at the people at the table like no one looks like them, and that, talking about sometimes you feel like maybe you're not supposed to be there. Like, okay, well, I'm here. Well, am I supposed to be here? Or I want to be there, but do I have a right to be there? You know, so a lot of those different conversations come up. And that's why I always ask that, because I know that someone out there can relate to your particular story, someone can relate to mine, so on and so forth. You know, so I always think it's important to talk about it and just, you know, just to talk openly about it. So that's why I want to ask you that. But that is so awesome. And I love it how you remember those different teachers' names.
Ooh, my goodness, it was so
That's
powerful,
amazing.
powerful. It's like they were like, I mean, like they were placed on my trail, you know, on my journey to tell me, okay, yeah, I see your
Hmm.
condition, but you
Yeah.
don't have no excuse. You don't have, I don't have no excuses. I can't.
Hmm. Wow. I
So,
remember I had a teacher, her name was Miss Mean. And that's
mm,
what her name was, Miss Mean. And she was very stern,
mm,
but it was a lovingness about it. You know what I mean? You knew that she genuinely cared about you and that
yeah.
she wanted to see you excel. And it's just something about that feeling. You know, that's amazing. Because I think I was about, I don't know, I had to maybe be in maybe fourth, fifth grade. No, yeah, about fourth, fifth grade. Yep,
Wow.
yep. So we're gonna take just a quick commercial and then we shall be right back.
Okay.
Realizing Your Potential LLC presents Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. This anthology brings together women that have overcome hardships in their lives and have managed not only to survive, but thrive. Their stories focus on resiliency, adaptability, and strength, acknowledging the innate strength and leadership qualities in African American women.
Okay, we are back. So, Dr. Huffman, let me ask you, what were some of the challenges that you would say you experienced either in the corporate, you know, sector or in your own business as an African American woman in leadership?
So I worked almost 20 years in corporate America. And what stands out is working for ING, which is a financial company. And underneath that umbrella, I worked for ExxonMobil as well as Boeing. I traded millions of dollars on the stock market. And so I would, take the calls from millionaires, male, white, I would say Caucasian, white male. I would take majority of my calls from them, and I was intimidated, because it's almost like you had to be perfect. You had to, when we trade, you have to read a script 3 times, and sometimes they will call in at almost at the end of the buzzer, like at 3:55, and would want me to trade their money quickly. And what I've learned is to be stern and to go at my pace. People want to rush you along, want to tell you, okay, this is how you do it, and I want you to do it now. But I've learned, be stern. Take your time, because you want to do things in excellence. And it took me, I was there for almost 7 years. It took me some time to learn that, because I would just allow them to do what they wanted to do. And I thank God I never had like a transactional era, but it taught me how to be stern and to stand up to people and tell them, slow down. Yes, we're at 3:55, but we have a process that we must go through. So that taught me how in leadership, how to stand and stand firm and stand up to people, not being disrespectful, but being firm and letting them know this is how this is going to have to go. This is what we're going to do. And so those were my challenges, in corporate America, and standing out I think like a sore thumb, because being a Christian woman, not going to the parties, not doing things that most people do. But I came in as a person of focus. I came into corporate America as a woman of excellence, a woman that loved God and wanted to do a job and learn and master the corporate America. I wanted to master everything that God gave me in corporate America, especially with ExxonMobil. I became a trainer over that division, and ExxonMobil, because we were really trading their stocks, like their money. It's a little bit different from 401k, but it was very difficult, but I asked God to master it. So I would tell women, ask the Holy Spirit to master whatever it is, to help you to learn how to master things so that you can help others to learn how to master.
Wow, I know ExxonMobil. And what was the other one called?
Boeing. So Boeing was under the umbrella of 401k, but ExxonMobil, we literally traded their stock, which is a little bit different than 401k. So
okay. So a lot of times I think we as women, so now you've transitioned into full-time entrepreneurship, correct?
Yes.
Okay, for how many years?
I'm going into my third year.
All right,
Full-time entrepreneur.
Excellent. I like to hear that. And I know there's a lot of people out there like, oh yeah, I want to do that too. I want to get to that point. So let me ask you this. Now, what skills were transferable, shall I say? Like, what skills did you use when you worked in corporate that you use now to excel your business?
What I've learned is what transferred from corporate is learning how to be flexible. Anything can happen when you're an entrepreneur. Things can be good for a month and then, okay, there's no sales. So it taught me how to be flexible. It taught me how to communicate with people, how customer service is number one. I worked as a customer service representative in corporate America. So learning how to talk to people, how to listen, listen to people and really hear their heart. Okay, Renee, I'm on the cover of Women of Dignity magazine, but I don't like how my hair look in that picture. Can you change that picture? You can either get upset or you can do what your customer asks you to do. So being just very helpful, going the extra mile for people. Sometimes I go extra and they be like, I just do too much. That's what they say. Renee, just create and create and create. But I love helping people to go further. So it taught me how to go that extra mile, to be creative, think outside the box. Oh my goodness. I've learned so much from corporate America, and then taking that and being an entrepreneur. And to be in order, having everything in order, being on time. Woo! The list goes on. The list goes on. It's so funny because it's like, like when you're in corporate America, and I want to tell this to every entrepreneur, every person that walks in leadership, is that a lot of us were anxious to leave. But when you become a full-time entrepreneur, you really thank God for corporate America. You thank God for your leadership. You thank God for everything, because now everything is on me.
Things on you. Yeah.
Exactly. So the weight is, it's not easy. It can be challenging, and hiring people, firing people, all those responsibilities are on you now. So I always tell people who are young, stay in corporate America, really learn some skills, some soft skills, learn things, and then transition and have start to save money to the side, put money to the side, put money to the side for your business to come, learn about business credit. Come on now. It's so many things that you need to learn before you enter into your entrepreneurship.
Right. Yes. I'm just thinking about, you're right. It's a lot. It's a lot to learn. I was going to ask you something, or you made me think of something as you were talking, and it just kind of escaped me. And the thing is, I don't like to interrupt. I'm trying to sit back and listen, but sometimes, y'all, if I don't say it right then, it's like this. But you were talking about corporate America. You were saying that some people are anxious to leave, and you were saying make sure you take everything that you can, excuse me, and learn everything that you can. Oh, it was about communication. In these different discussions, I think back to some of the managers I've had, and I have to say that initially, like, I could tell you who I felt connected to and who supported me and who didn't. And what I'm starting to learn is that, or what I have learned, shall I say, and begin to expound on a little bit more having these discussions, is that it's different between being management or a supervisor and being a leader. So that came up. And okay, so that's one piece, and I definitely want you to speak on that. But even prior to that, I want to give my little 2 cents about leaders and supervisors. I had a supervisor that I swear to you, I can't make this up. This is like the first week on the job. And he says to me toward the end of the week, he's like, okay, yeah, so if you have any questions, don't come to me. I want you to go to so-and-so, so-and-so. I just was like, did he really just say that? Like, is he for real right now with this? I couldn't believe it. And having these discussions, it's like, if I really think about it, having that connection, meaning that when I say connection, I mean truly believing that this person wants me to be better.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if I even think about myself, the jobs that I had that I felt like I wanted to give it 110% was with was with real leaders, people that really poured into me. You know what I mean? That really took time and had cultivated a relationship and communicated with me and really began to know what areas I needed a little bit more assistance in. You know what I mean? And sometimes you just have to encourage them. I know this because I'm a social worker, so there's a lot of crisis. We constantly putting out fires. And for a supervisor to say, how are you doing today? You know what I mean? How are you feeling? How can I support you? Made the world of a difference. The world of a difference. And like I said, this is just kind of in hindsight. But being an entrepreneur and in this role, I provide that now for other individuals.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's like when you people know what's going on in here. You can try to hide it. You can try to be fake all you want to all day long. But people are going to eventually find out. You know what I mean? That whether or not you really care or whether you don't.
That's
you
good.
Know what I mean? Yeah, people are going to find that out.
They will find it out. But I would like to add to that is that being a leader is learning how to delegate as well. Like, we can't do everything. I can't be, everyone to you. Sometime I have to learn how, okay, I'm gonna give this to my assistant. They will help you. Oh, but Renee, I love you. I love your customer service. I love but learning how to give it to other people. Like you said, they referred you to someone else, because we can't do it all. And great visionaries, it's so important for us to learn how to pull back and allow us to give to others so that we can keep the vision going as a leader.
So do you find was that at all challenging for you, or have you experienced that with others having that difficulty with delegating?
Oh, yeah, I've actually had, because I'm a perfectionist, and Lord help me, I know we're supposed to walk in excellence, but I want to do it myself. Sometimes I give the task to someone else and they don't execute. It automatically makes me want to pick it up and say, I'll do it. But learning how to say, you know, not only to delegate to, but to be able to teach as a leader. Okay, go back to that person and tell them, no, this is not what I'm looking for. And when we're dealing with magazines, you're dealing with angles, you're dealing with you need a clear picture of that person. So it's almost working perfect. It almost has to be perfect almost. And so I have had to learn, give it to them. It's okay that they messed up. Continue to train them, show them. And I love one application that I work out of. I can literally start working with the magazine and I can have my assistant or the person that works in that graphic department, they can see me moving. And that's teaching them, come on, you got to match your leader. You got to match the quality. You got to match where we're going. So it's so important for us to teach people, not only delegate, but you got to teach them, you know. And most people want to say, okay, I just want to give it over to them. Yes, you're going to give it over to them, but it's still not going to be of your quality or your vision, your voice. So that's why it's so important for me to teach people to make sure that they get my vision.
Yes. Teach them, right? Because otherwise, how are they going to know? You
exactly. Know? Exactly. I mean, because most people say, okay, I'll give you A, B, C, but then you have to check their work. You got to look at it, you know, and that's what I say about myself, you know, calm down. It's okay. They messed up. Just teach them even the more, go the mile for them. Right. So, and I mean, but we're running a business. You got time and time. I don't know about you, but time seems like it's moving faster. It's rolling on. And it's like, okay, God, how do I keep up as a leader? So
right. It is. It's a lot. And as you begin to grow your business, you have to delegate. You have to, even whether you want to or not, right? Because otherwise you're not going to be able to do those, be in creative mode and do what you want to do in your business. Because I know for me, and then I do have a question for you. Well, you know what? Let me say it so I don't forget. I want to ask you to speak to what you think some of the differences are between a supervisor or a manager and a leader, because I think sometimes people kind of interchange it, or don't really understand what, and I'm sorry, everybody. My son is really going in the background playing those video games. And sometimes people don't really understand what the differences are. But I wanted to say that I had to, and I didn't have no problem with turning it over per se, but I call myself a recovering perfectionist. And I got that from another coach. And if she's watching, she'll be like, there you go, use my little phrase again. Yes, I am. Because it's like, that's perfect. Because I'm a perfectionist and I'm recovering. So it's a process, okay? So I remember when I would be working on these graphics, it's like I would kill myself trying to make the perfect graphic. And I'd go over and over. Now I'm like, you know what? That's something I have to give it to somebody else. You know what I mean? And then it's like sometimes I'm like, the angle's a little bit off, or can you make this pop more? But like you said, I explained it. Well, you know what? Maybe let me tell them again, kind of what I'm going for.
Yes.
That kind of thing. But for me, so that was like the first thing that I had to delegate. And anything tech, like I'm not building no more landing pages. I'm not adding nothing. I'm not going to a make your own website 101. I'm good. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
I'm good. But go ahead and speak to, if you want to piggyback on anything as far as the delegation piece, and then talk about what the differences would be between a supervisor and a leader.
So when you think of a supervisor and you think of a manager, I'm just going to stop right there. Those are different levels. They have different responsibilities. A supervisor, to me, is the person that really looks over people They're probably a little bit more stern than the manager, because they have to make sure they keep everything in order, everything moving. They have a lot of responsibility because the supervisor has to answer to the manager, and the manager, they have to answer to the director or the CEO. So they have a lot of responsibilities, as in numbers. More to me, they may look at it's more administrative when it comes to a manager. I think it's more administrative versus than the supervisor, because the supervisor is overlooking everyone versus the manager is behind the scenes, making sure the numbers are right, making sure everything is in order, everything, when they go to the director or the CEO, that everything is running smooth. And so that's the difference between a supervisor and a manager. But a leader, put both of them together and add the CEO onto that, put all three components together, the supervisor, the manager, and the CEO, put them all together, because being a entrepreneur, being a leader, I have a responsibility from the lower of low and the high of high. I have to make sure that I keep my eyes on every part of my business if I want it to grow. So it's so important to know all those different levels. And I'm gonna be honest with you all. Now, I was a trainer, I've been a supervisor, but I really shied away from that. And I can also see that God was trying to give it to me because of now. So don't shy away from certain responsibilities, because you're going to need that when you become a full-time entrepreneur.
When you said that, I just thought about like how we as entrepreneurs, we'd be switching hats. Like, okay, I'm the financial person. Let me grab my financial hat, right? Let me go over here. I'm building this landing page and getting my whole funnel together, right? So let me put on my tech hat, and it's like you're shifting. And I like how you use the analogy. It's like, okay, you supervisor, manager, and CEO. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? All in one.
All in one.
Yeah, all in one. And you're right. I think you constantly have to, even when you bring on, when you bring on people, just like for example, like I'm a behavioral health clinician now. Yeah. So when they brought me on, the head person has a vision. They have a vision for our community mental health, right? And what they see and how they want to see things play out, right? Just like us as entrepreneurs, I have a vision for my new book anthology. I have a vision for my overall business. So as I interview virtual assistants and graphics people and all of that, it's on a smaller scale, but I have to be clear on my own vision, and it changes over time, or maybe modify. When I started 4 years ago, I didn't have the same. Things have changed a little bit. I'm not saying I went from all the way over here to all the way over here, but things have changed a little bit. But that's part of being a leader, is having that overall vision and having an understanding of later, way down the line, what you're looking to see in your business, or what type of impact, or how you want to expand.
Yes.
So, yeah. So what do you want to add, or what do you want to leave the audience with? It could be a note of inspiration. It could be a practical tip or tool. It's up to you.
My mantra in life is stay in your lane or be disqualified. And so I always tell people to master their lane, just like track and field. I love track and field. When you see them before the gun goes off, you see them stretching, you see them, they're focused, their face is focused, and they're not concerned about the person to the left or the right of them. And they may have studied them, what I'm saying, because they're competition, which is okay. And I want to talk about that. I know we continue to say collaborate over competition, but it's okay to compete. It's okay. It's when you take it to that next level and it's, it becomes mean and you become nasty. But it's okay to look at, Coca-Cola looking at Pepsi. Come on now. It's okay to look at one another's vision, but knowing to stay in your lane, learning to stay in your lane and to keep producing and being creative and innovative, but being focused. I go back to that lane that you want to make sure that you're focused, that you stretch, you stretch your thoughts, you stretch your vision, your innovation, your connections, your relationships. You want to stretch to go all the way. You want to finish. You want to get the grand prize. So that's what I would leave with you is stay in your lane or be disqualified. Go all the way because you're going to receive a grand prize.
So, Dr. Huffman, when you say stay in your lane or be disqualified, and I like how you use the analogy too about the runners. And you're right, they might have studied their competition beforehand, but while they running that race, they're not focused on what this person over here doing and what this person over here doing. Right? They are not focused on that. So I like that analogy, but I want to make sure that we all understand what you mean when you say stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane is to believe in yourself. To believe in your blueprints. Believe in, most people are looking in other people's lanes. And you see it on social media, and it's okay. Sometimes you're just coming into the game and you want to see what's out there. You want to see, what people are doing, but learning how to stay in your lane, your blueprints, learning that you are powerful, like the great Muhammad Ali. He believed that he was great before he was great. You have to see your power source on the inside. And so when we see that power, then you can stay in your lane, you can believe in yourself, you can go. But when you look at everybody else's lane and say, oh, I want to be like them, I want to do their blueprint, that's how you become disqualified, because you never look on the inside and believe on the dreams. And I always say this, you have so many jewels on the inside, but if you never take time to discover them and you're discovering everyone else's jewels, you missed out on a gift from God. You literally took the gift away from the world. When you don't discover who you are, because you the blueprint. These are my handprints. Nobody else has my handprints or my footprints. So when I decided to stay in my lane and to walk in my superpower and run the race, I know that I'm going to get to the finish lane.
All right.
Finish line. Finish line.
I knew what you meant. Okay, I think I understand. Meaning that pay attention to or explore and be able to craft what your niche is or what your area of expertise is, versus like on social media, you're like, oh, okay, well, Renee, she's doing this magazine. Maybe I should do a magazine. Or this person over here, they're doing a podcast. Maybe I should do a podcast. Oh, this person over here, like that. That's what you mean, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Walk in what, if God called you to do, because a magazine is not easy. Most people say, oh, I can do that. No problem. I'll just give me some graphic designers and I will produce a magazine. But if you want a quality magazine, if you want people to become repeat customers, it's something that God has already put on the inside for me to do it. So it's be your own unique self. That's what I would say.
Okay. And I find that, and we're getting ready to conclude, everybody, but I find that sometimes I have to disconnect, from the Facebook feed, the Instagram feed, because that allows me to be more in tune with myself and my own gifts and my own talents and just be creative. You know what I mean? So I always encourage it, and I do it myself. Sometimes I just kind of pull back and just see what I'm feeling, like what this season brings about for me.
Yes.
So I like that. Stay in your lane. I have to add, or be disqualified, right?
Or be disqualified. Stay in your lane or be disqualified. Yes.
Don't forget that. So, in conclusion, let the audience know exactly where they can find you and what upcoming events do you have.
Okay, well, you can reach me via all social media outlets, Renee Huffman. You can also reach my business page, Women of Dignity Media. You can also go to my website, womenofdignitymedia.com, or email me, wodmedia@yahoo.com. Like I stated, all social media outlets, you can reach me, as well as right now, we have so many great things that are coming up. We have I can't announce it yet, but we have a phenomenal gospel artist that will be on our cover for Women of Dignity magazine. And we're just taking women to their next. Hopefully in the fall, we will have more things that are rolling out, as in like a girls trip tour for Women of Dignity magazine. So more information will be coming out about that. And I have an anthology that is coming out called Queen Esther's Royal Code. And so I have an anthology coming out in the month of June. So I'm super excited. It's just so many things that we have on the horizon. So just come to the website, Women of Dignity magazine, or come daily to my Facebook page, Renee Huffman, and you will see all these beautiful, gorgeous African-American women that are strong in leadership, strong in everything that God has called and chosen and commissioned them to do.
Yes. I've been there and I've seen it, and I was like, wow, this Dr. Huffman is really doing it. Let me get in contact with her. So this is our second time, or really during this symposium, this is our first time meeting.
Yes, face
And
to face.
yeah, so it's like I know you, and I know your work, and I know the Woman of Dignity, but this is the first time really being able to put a face with the name, or personality with the name, and I have to say it's been an honor and a pleasure working with you.
Thank you so much.
I really have to say that. So, ladies, thank you again for joining us. Again, I'm Jacqueline Kaba-Harrison, your host for 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙉 Roundtable Leadership Symposium, which is dedicated to personal, professional, and leadership development for African American women. I'm sorry, my son is really going at it in the background. He's really throwing me off. But I just want you to know I'm so appreciative of those of you that have been so supportive of me over the years with my symposiums, with the show, and just basically showing up. I really, really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. I may not have a chance to say it all the time, but I do. I really genuinely appreciate you. And I'm also looking for guests for the 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙉 Roundtable show and podcast. And I'm also looking for show hosts for the 𝙌𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙉 Roundtable channel, which is on the Women Win Network, streaming on Roku as well as Amazon Fire TV, reaching 100 million homes. So if you are looking to explode your brand, you want maximum visibility, you want to increase your credibility, then definitely either email me or go to my website address, which is Realizing Your Potential. The number is 123.com or 123@gmail.com, and reach out and let's have a conversation. All right, thanks again. And this has been just an awesome experience, bringing all the different girl bosses to the table. Yes. And definitely make sure that you follow me so you can stay up to date on all of the latest information and different things that I'm doing. All right, thanks a lot. And Dr. Renee Huffman, thank you again for joining us and taking a seat at the table. And I look forward to collaborating with you again in the future.
Yes, sounds wonderful. Can't wait.
All right, take care now.
Bye.